Hello and welcome to the campus of UW-Whitewater. I'm your host, Kyler Pfaff, and alongside me today is Jack Eberhardt. We ask you to please excuse our momentary interruption of sports from your regular daily schedule. Today we will be discussing the players considered the greatest of all time, or better known as the GOATs. Let's get right into it. The GOAT conversation is one that will be debated for ages, especially in professional basketball. Is Michael Jordan the greatest basketball player ever?
In my opinion, Jordan is number one. His accolades over his career are pretty crazy. He had 11 scoring titles. He was 6 for 6 in the finals with a 24-11 record. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for being like that.
Yeah, and going off of that, I feel that Michael Jordan definitely changed the game with his flair. The ability he had to finish around the basket, whether it's dunking or just these tremendous layups, it makes it just unfathomable how great he truly was, and especially in an era where it was a lot of aggression and a lot of physicality, and he was the person to surpass them all.
Yeah, exactly. Going off that for his time, I mean, the dunk contest when he dunked behind the free throw line, that's the first time anyone's ever seen that. I mean, he took flight, which is literally his brand now. So, I mean, just his accolades are just insane.
And then Michael Jordan, he's also changed the game on a shoes standpoint. He was the one who really brought a different type of feel to the game when it comes to what you wear. And everybody used to say you want to be like Mike because of the shoes. And transitioning to that, I mean, even nowadays, everybody's wearing these expensive sneakers, all these just really great shoes, and that's all because of the man, Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Going a little bit away from Michael Jordan, the number 2 guy from the public standpoint is LeBron. LeBron, through his career, he's won four MVPs, 3 rings. He's just the number 2 guy. Who's your number 2, Kyler?
Yeah, I would definitely say LeBron is right there. But personally, I like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is the reason I got into basketball. His work ethic is just unmatched. I mean, the only person you can compare Kobe Bryant to would be Michael Jordan. And for that sake, I think that Kobe definitely deserves to be mentioned here in the greatest of all time. He has 5 rings, one short of Michael Jordan, but he was 5-1 in the finals when he lost to the Celtics, who had just an amazing team that year.
Yeah, as you see from his death and passing away in 2020, everyone's kind of just like pushing Kobe off each year as we go. There's a bunch of people now that in the sports realm that don't even have Kobe in their top 10, which is kind of crazy to me, and the disrespect of Kobe.
And another GOAT I'd like to point out would be Bill Russell. Bill Russell, his numbers speak for himself. He won 11 NBA championships, and I don't remember how many MVPs, but I think it was a lot to be considered one of the best of all time. Especially at his position, Bill Russell definitely knew how to play the game of basketball.
Right now, we have an emerging GOAT in the NBA with Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is, by all means, the best shooter of all time. He won back-to-back titles and should have won one when LeBron beat him. They had a 3-1 lead. But as we see Steph Curry's career go on, I really do think that he could be the GOAT with another championship.
Next up, we will discuss who the greatest quarterback of all time is. Stay tuned for more on UWW-TV.
We'd love to show you what it's like to be a Warhawk.
Come on!
Don't miss out on your chance to be a Warhawk.
At UW-Whitewater.
You belong here!
For Hawk Talk, especially on days I'm hosting, you really need to be up early looking at those news stories. Even the night before, I'm finding topics that I can incorporate in the show, and I feel like we get a conversation going.
Once you get the opportunity to do
that with other people who appreciate it the same level as you do, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
For everything sports, tune in Monday through Thursday at 91.7 The Edge or watch us on UWW TV.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
Here at UW Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on! That's it anyways. Oh, she got that. Oh, they're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
Welcome back to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule. Tom Brady has had an illustrious career, one that has resulted in 7 Super Bowl rings. Is Brady truly the greatest quarterback of all time? What do you think, Jack?
As of right now, I do think Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, he's 45 years old, literally an old man, and he's still playing football at the highest level. He has the most passing yards, passing touchdowns, attempts and completions, with the highest win percentage over any quarterback who's played 100 games, with being 76%.
Yeah, and having 7 rings definitely speaks for itself too. I mean, he's been to a lot more Super Bowls actually, but the Giants took him away from him. But he'd easily have double digits if it weren't for those type of games. And he's just got to be considered one of the best all time. His longevity, he was drafted in 2000, and he was drafted 199th overall, which is very surprising for a GOAT like himself.
I agree. Going off the Super Bowls and what he's done in the Super Bowl, I mean, he had the best comeback in Super Bowl history against the Falcons. You know, you're down by that much, and you know, I remember watching the game. I'm like, yeah, Brady's screwed. No way he's coming back. And then that big play, that throw to Julian Edelman, just solidifies his position as, you know, just one of the most clutch quarterbacks of all time, and you know, the GOAT.
And another GOAT for the quarterback position, I would say, is Joe Montana. Joe Montana played in a completely different era in the 80s and 90s, where he won 4 Super Bowls with the 49ers, with his favorite target being Jerry Rice. I mean, that has to be one of the best duos possibly of all time. And in my eyes, that's why I feel Joe Montana would be considered one of the GOATs.
Yeah, that was it's a different game nowadays, though. I mean, there's definitely some uprising GOATs. We see Patrick Mahomes. The stuff he can do is unlike no other quarterback. He can run out of the pocket, throw across his body, not even looking at his receivers. I mean, just the developmental aspect of the game has just changed so much. And as we see these young players, you're not just a guy who's going to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. You got to be able to move and make just crazy plays and crazy throws.
Exactly. And my hot take would be Lamar Jackson might be even one of the best players of all time. The way he's able to just run the football, he's able to pass the football, he's able to get his teammates involved, he throws to everybody. Lamar Jackson, once he wins the Super Bowl, I feel he will definitely be considered top 10 at least. But hopefully he'll make his statistics even more better in the future and then hopefully become one of the GOATs.
Another uprising GOAT nowadays, I mean, you'd be dumb to not put Josh Allen in there. I mean, as a 240-pound linebacker and being 6'4", the way he can move and run, sling the ball, I mean, he's almost impossible to tackle. And the fact that he's playing quarterback at that weight and height and just being one of the most dominant quarterbacks today is just truly, it's insane.
Let's transition to Major League Baseball. Obviously, there are so many aspects in the game of baseball that contribute to a team's success. But we need to know, who is the greatest hitter of all time in the MLB?
My greatest hitter in the MLB is Barry Bonds. He had a .298 batting percentage. I mean, he has the most home runs of all time. And he has the second most home runs in a season, which recently just got passed by Aaron Judge.
Yeah, and I would say my greatest hitter of all time would be Babe Ruth. I mean, the guy his stats definitely speak for himself. He's known as the Great Bambino for a reason. He's able to hit a lot of home runs, having 714 home runs, and had a career average of 342. That's just over 300 is amazing, and if you get any more than that, you're just doing so well at that on the offensive end, and I think Babe Ruth is the greatest.
I'll say another uprising GOAT. I mean, I mentioned previously Aaron Judge. He's considered like the first natty person to hit 62 home runs in a year, and which being the most in a season. So, I mean, as an uprising GOAT, if he just continues the way he's doing, he's going to be the greatest hitter of all time, and I don't think there's any question in that.
And another underrated hitter for baseball would be David Ortiz, Big Papi. This guy, came in clutch during the World Series where they won by hitting, bases loaded, grand slam, to tie the game and then eventually win it in extra innings. That's definitely a feat that nobody really understood, and he's definitely should be considered one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Going back to the Barry Bonds era in that era, which is known as the steroid era, another great hitter would be Mark McGwire. I mean, he could hit the ball 500 feet. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. And one of the aspects of Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire not being able to get into the Hall of Fame because they are on steroids, but you can see, I mean, you can hit the ball that well without steroids. He was on steroids, which kind of boosted those two a little bit, but I mean, I still think that those two are just some of the best hitters of all time.
Yeah, and another underrated hitter would definitely be Pete Rose. Obviously, with the, betting on his own team, betting against his own team, that kind of hinders him from the Hall of Fame. But he has the most hits of any baseball player, and that's got to speak some volume. Next, we will talk about the greatest athlete of all time across all sports. You're watching PEOMIOSFYRDS on UWW-TV.
UW Whitewater Bookstore is your one-stop shop for apparel, textbooks, and technology. Stop in for a wide selection of gifts from our alumni, family, and name brand sections. Need to purchase or rent a textbook? Head downstairs to Textbook Services. Check out our new custom shop and create personalized apparel for your organization. Need a charger, laptop, or headphones? Our new technology section has everything you might need. For more information and bookstore hours, visit uwwhitewaterbookstore.com.
Life is defined by moments. In those moments, student athletes at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater shine. With world-class facilities and coaching staff, we set our Warhawk athletes up for success in the classroom, in the community, and in competition. Through our championship culture, we prepare you to make an impact in the future. Learn more about the Warhawk Athletics family at uwwsports.com.
For Hawk Talk, especially on days I'm hosting, you really need to be up early looking at those news stories, even the night before. I'm finding topics that I can incorporate in the show, and I feel like we get a conversation going.
Once you get the opportunity to do that with other people who appreciate it the same level as you do, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
For everything sports, tune in Monday through Thursday at 91.7 The Edge or watch us on UWW TV.
The PB Poorman Pride Center is the place to go for LGBTQ+ resources, information, and community. Located in the Warhawk Connection Center, while there, you can meet people like Mia.
And I serve Impact as president this fall, as well as working for the Pride Center. Impact is our queer LGBTQ+ and ally organization on campus. We meet once a week, and we do a lot of social events as well as education events.
It feels like I'm way more accepted here than when I was in high school. It is like a really big family.
Along with acceptance, in the Pride Center you can find a little library, a clothing closet, and a satellite location of the Warhawk Food Pantry.
It just feels like a home to me. It feels like my home away from home, and there's such a community here that is so wonderful and full of joy.
For more information, follow the Pride Center on Instagram at UWW_PRC.
Welcome back to the show alongside Jack Eberhardt. I'm Kyler Pfaff. While numbers alone are easy ways to tell who a GOAT might be, let's dive into who the most athletic athlete is of all time. Jack, who do you think takes the cake?
So I'm going to go with the athlete that not a lot of people probably know. He's a wrestler from Russia. His name is Alexander Karelin. For 13 years, he did not lose a single match. He won 3 Olympic titles, and in those 13 years, not to mention this, he let up 0 points, no takedowns, and that's just insane. It's unheard of. He had his move. It's called the Karelin Slam, where he'd pick up 300-pound men and literally just toss them around like rag dolls. He could clean and press 420 pounds, which is, that's just insane. That's just what makes him, the greatest athlete of all time. To be a heavyweight and just destroy other grown men, just toss around like there's nothing, is just crazy.
Yeah, my greatest athlete of all time would definitely be Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali also had a problem where, when he was 25, he didn't go into the army, and then he was sentenced to jail, and he wasn't able to fight for about 3 years. Now, if you think about it, 25 to 28, that's during a person's prime, okay? And this guy definitely had a lot more in him, and he won 3 heavyweight championships on 3 separate occasions. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, another GOAT in the MA boxing world. UFC, I would have to go with John Jones. I mean, he didn't lose a single match. He was undefeated until he got disqualified, which, I mean, I wouldn't really count that. He got disqualified. He didn't actually lose because he got beat up. I mean, he beat some of the best, some of the considered the best of all time. He beat Daniel Cormier twice. He beat other great wrestlers and MMA fighters such as Rashad Evans, and plenty more to even name that
Yeah, going into other stuff, I would say one of the greatest athletes of all time has to be considered here would be Michael Phelps. He won over 20 plus gold medals for the swim team. That's kind of crazy. He's just a specimen, big specimen that just absolutely tore up the rink. And it was definitely an amazing feat to watch. When we come back, we'll present our final thoughts for this week's episode. Stay tuned.
What does it mean to be a Warhawk?
It means allowing myself to dream big and think outside the box.
Pushing the limits of what I think is possible.
Seeing ideas through from start to finish.
Collaborating with professors and peers.
And seizing opportunities in the community to put my knowledge to use.
I'm studying abroad,
learning another language,
and listening to the stories of others.
I'm making lifelong friends and fearlessly sharing my gifts with the world.
As a Warhawk, I stay balanced,
take great care of myself,
and get out of my comfort zone.
I refuse to let the past determine my future.
And I'm taking confident steps in the direction of my dreams.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
And other times it couldn't be more exciting.
But I will keep my goals in mind
and never quit.
Because
that's the Warhawk way.
For Hawk Talk, especially on days I'm hosting, you really need to be up early looking at those news stories. Even the night before, I'm finding topics that I can incorporate in the show, and I feel like we get a conversation going.
Once you get the opportunity to do that with other people who appreciate it the same level as you do, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
For everything sports, tune in Monday through Thursday at 91.7 The Edge or watch us on UWW TV.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
Welcome back to PEOMIOSFYRDS. Let's wrap it up by talking about our final thoughts from today's episode. So a couple athletes I'd like to point out that should be considered one of the GOATs. It would definitely be Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky, the first time he came into the league, the guy won the scoring title and MVP. That speaks volumes as a rookie. To do that is just remarkable. And then another GOAT I would say would definitely be Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has had over 45 matches and he hasn't lost a single one. And he's had the championship for over a decade. That's pretty remarkable to me. And then I would say finally the last person that I would consider the GOAT would be a Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson is probably the greatest athlete to ever live. The way he was able to play football and transition to baseball. He was able to just absolutely tear it up on the field and then go ahead and hit home runs. That's pretty remarkable to do.
Another GOAT that I missed or that we might have missed, it would be Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, for his time, he was the most dominant force in the NBA. I mean, he scored 100 in a game. You know, he averaged crazy amount of points. Another GOAT that I missed is Hank Aaron. I mean, Hank Aaron would be considered one of the best hitters of all time due to all his accolades.
That will do it for us here tonight. Thank you for watching and tune in next time to hear more hot takes all around the world of sports. This has been Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule on UWW TV.